Hey, good morning, everyone. Uh, Back, of course, again for another 3 minutes with God. Um, Still going through Romans 12. So let's go ahead and start the timer. So, Romans 12, verse number 3 says, "For I say, through the grace given to me, to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly as God has dealt to each one a measure of faith." Um, Again, Paul is continuing on, and now he says, For I say, through the grace given to me, that I love that piece right there because as we've kind of discussed somewhat of Paul's history and Paul's past, uh, Paul is saying that the grace that he has received, and so he says that the way I look at it is Paul is saying is if God can save somebody like me, God can save anybody. He's like, because I know all the things that I've done, and I know what I wanted to do, but I didn't have a way to do it. And so that's one way and one reason why we shouldn't look down at anyone or on anyone, because if God can save somebody like us, then He can save anybody. Then he goes on and he says, to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. And this is just a way to, as he followed us this up by thinking about the grace of God and the reason why he has what he has and is able to do what he's able to do and is where he is, it's only because of the grace of God. And what Paul is saying is to everyone else is to take a look at yourself and say, hey, that don't think that you are better than what you are. Don't think that it's everything that you have or may know, or possessions or money or whatever it is. Don't think that it was all you, because he says it's all because of the grace of God that's given to you. He says that you should not think more highly of yourself than you should. Now, he's not saying that you need to have low self-esteem or low view of self, but to realize and remember and recognize that it's all because of God. Whatever you may know, God gave it to you. Whatever you may have, God, it's a gift from God. Any degrees or whatever it is, yes, you may have done the work, but it was God fueling you and giving you the intelligence to do it. Then he says, but to think soberly as God has dealt to each one a measure of faith. That God has given us everything that we need. That sometimes we pray for more faith, we pray for more blessings, we pray for this, but God has already given us everything that we need. The only thing that we need to do is just use what God has already given us. And so that's what I leave you with today is we don't need more of anything. We don't need more God. We don't need any of that. We just need to use everything that God has already given us, because He has already given us everything that we need to make it. And so God bless you and have a great day.